Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and I think I'm gonna show how to put this wrap on this particular gun. Now it's going to be different for every gun, but it's a sniper uh, ghillie suit, basically for a gun. I have the ghillie suit also, and I just thought I would get something to match it, and it was like $8 and something for this, and it's got stretchy material on it, so you got a little bit of flexibilities here. And I would like for them to have put bunches here maybe a little closer together throughout, but it'll still serve somewhat of a purpose. Not that you're ever going to need it, but this is basically for looks. uh, you're I don't think you're ever going to be in a situation where you actually have to have a ghillie suit for your rifle. If you do, you're shooting 2 miles away at people that's your enemy. I'm not doing that, and hopefully I never have to. But anyway, I just thought I got started on it, and I thought I would show me putting this on. And so basically, on the ends of this thing, it comes with this string here, and it was in there and just knotted. I guess this is supposed to be your way to tie it wherever you need it. So that's a pretty good idea. Kind of helps you install it. So basically what I did was I decided which side I wanted to put on this side, because I think one side's thinner than the other. It may not be. But I ran it through. My scope mounts actually have a hole in them that all this will come right through. You got to make sure you got to keep it nice and straight and get everything combed, because you're going to have to change it after you put it through. But to get it through, you have to just pull that to the side a little bit and just put it back like that, and that whole thing will go through my scope ring. So that's what I did. So right now, what I did was took that other string that was on the other end and put it through there and tied it down around my butt stock or butt plate or pad. So it just comes down right here. So this here I ran underneath and crisscrossed it around that bolt. So when I bring this down, I got plenty of room in here to allow clearance. So now I can screw that down, but I'm not going to do that yet because this is not where I have it. I got to get all these pulled out to start with. So I went and got some camouflage yarn about a year ago, and I ended up not doing what I was going to do with it. I did something different. Of course, that's the story of my life. I always do that. But it's camouflage, and it's different colors, and it will blend right in, no problem. So right now, what I want to do is stretch this down. We may want to bring one more row in here. But this is why it's important to comb this before you get started, and I didn't on that one. So you just got to comb it to get it kind of straight. Your fingers, and see if you can pull that through, because you don't want to break nothing. So now we just want this one coming in. So we'll take this one and pull it completely through. And this, there's another one right there. So because it's right, it lands. See, that's what I wanted to try to avoid, was landing on my cocking lever. If I can get it all out, because I don't want this part to come in. I want that to stay right where it's at. So now we got it through, we can pull this one back and just get them separated because they're tangled together. There's a lot to that one. I grab it all and pull it. Alright, so I think there's one more string left. So because of this lever and the safety, that one goes over here, I think. Yeah, that one comes over here on this side. Alright, so now because of the safety and the levers in the way, we're just going to drape all this over on the other side. And leave that like that. So then this will kind of come down a little bit on both sides, try to get about an even amount on both sides, and just kind of fluff it out there. It's not as heavy as it should be, but it'd be nice if it had more strings. But you can add to this with camouflage yarn. You just go through there and tie however many you want on there. The sky's the limits. So then we'll just take this one and separate it and put half on one side and half on the other. So we're going to divide this in half, and this half will come to this side. Alright, same thing with this one. We just want to pull that out, get them all in line, and then you separate it right where it's sewed. And we got this one there now. So now we can move that to the side and bring this back down. I don't spill my coffee doing it, shaking the table. Yeah, if you're not having your Trump coffee today, stop this video and start again. But I usually keep mine just about, gotta retest it, because we want, when that cheek is landed there, so we need to come up a little bit. This might become how to adjust your cheek rest, and we need to still come up some more. Getting there. There we go. Now when you put that there, you're there. You're ready to go. All you gotta do is your side to side. Alright, so now we'll lock that down. Got 2 set screws on the other side. Alright, so now we want to bring this and stretch it and bring it down here, so it's nice and low profile. So now that's where the yarn comes in handy. And just cut you off a big old long piece of it there, and you want to put your knot at the top. So we're going to drape it down here underneath this. And then we're going to bring it in over top of this. And we're going to try to keep them as even as possible, so that they have the same amount of hangover as the other side, so it'll blend in with the rest of it. So now we'll tie that and bring it down, and then we'll put another knot in it. And yes, this is permanently done to your gun unless you want to do this every single time. Alright, so I just basically wanted to go down now the strings blend right in with the rest of it. So now we just spread this out just like so, and there you have the buttstock. Alright, so now we're going to move forward, and let's get us some more string out here. About, I don't know, 14 inches maybe, something like that, 12 to 14 inches. That way it hangs down with the rest of this stuff, and it blends right in. You wouldn't even know it was yarn unless you was really looking at it. So now we'll go to the other side here, and this is what we draped over because we didn't want to be in the way of the safety. So it's a little thin right here, so we need to take half of this one and move to this side. Alright, so now we've got that. Now we got a magazine. We want to stay away from our magazine. So right here is going to be perfect. So now we get to start working on this out here. I'm hoping I have enough left that once I get over or done with this part here, then I can have another piece that will drape over top of the scope. I'd like to try to figure out a way to get that to stay there, but there ain't a whole lot that I can do except to run yarn down across here. I don't really want to put nothing down here. I want it to kind of be hidden. So alright, well, let's just divide that in half. And you guys are probably not even in frame. So now I'm going to just divide that part in half. Let's take these three and put them on this side. Alright, so now this is where we adjust that. So it was pulling into the scope. We don't want that. So basically we're going to pull it out and stretch it to right there. Oh, I got a string that just came out. Alright, so now I'm going to just stretch this all the way up as far as I want. I don't want to stretch too far, but I also want to have enough. I want to have enough left over so I can drape my scope. So this is the Avenger we're working on. So I'm going to measure, and I think right there will be perfect. So right here is where we're going to cut it. But it's going to be a little tricky getting it to mount to my suppressor. So we're going to flop that. And we're going to try to fix this somehow. I may have to use a piece of black tape. I really didn't want to do that. But let's try a piece of this string and see if it will hold it. So we're going to take and tie this string, not this string, the yarn. So we're going to take and tie that. down. And I'm going to try to get it as tight as I can with one person. And it don't matter if it's not tight enough. We're going to pull it. We're going to try to attach that somewhere so that it'll pull it tight. Bring it back here and attach it to the bipod. And that'll hold that tight and give us a way to work. So probably should have done that before. But we're just going to we're going to bring this other side over and back up. And we're going to drape this one back and bring it over to the other side. And then we're going to do it again. Now that we've got it attached, maybe we don't need this attached to the bipod. And I pulled my cup off the bottom of my bipod. So now I want to drape this back over. Probably could have stood for a longer piece of string, but that's alright. We'll just let that drape down with the rest of the stuff, so even your mess ups still makes it look good. Alright, so we're going to take and use the original string that came with it. And I'm just going to put it in that. So we're just going to try to wrap this around the barrel. All the way. And then it would have helped if I'd have had that centered, which I didn't. Trying to get them both the same length. Alright, let's try this again. And then we'll tie it. So now and pull it through tight. I want to drape that over. I should have done that, so let me do this. But I want to kind of make it so it loops, so it will at least try to hold itself a little better. So now this piece is the piece I'm going to cut off. And we hope it don't cause us a problem. So now we got a piece for the scope. So we'll just drape that on the scope and put it down with rubber bands. Alright, so now that we've got it tied, Now we can go ahead and start separating this. Put half on one side, half on the other. If you notice, they sewed the string on one side and then alternated. So that way you don't have a solid line going across the top of your barrel. The only thing I can see that could possibly be changed about this is the fact that they need to put some more in between them, because you do have to stretch these to make them so they fit nice. So when you put it on, you have plenty of cover. You know, it still shows a lot of the gun. So that would be the only thing I would change about this. It's not a bad setup. And coming from me, that means a lot. So we're just trying to get half combed on each side as best we can. Alright, then we're going to do this one. Got twisted somehow. That's a little hole to get into there. Alright, so now that we've got that done, now we can just start spreading it out. Like I said, it's a little thin. It could be a little thicker. You're not trying to get perfect, you just want kind of look like sage grass. So now that we've got that spread out, some of that can go to this side. That's why it's nice to get it the same amount on both sides, so you have the same amount of coverage. It's not the ideal thing for coverage, but it helps if you're in that situation where you need it. So now we'll take some more of this yarn. Got a big old piece of it. And we're going to start. I don't see me getting that threaded in that. If I get it threaded through there, I'd be amazed. No, that's not going to happen. So I'm going to have to go around all three of the barrels. So basically, I'm just going to go down here and go around all three of them. And we got it behind the stock. So We want that to be about that long. So we'll just tie us a knot. And then we'll cut it off to length. And we'll do that in between every single one of them. It will add a little fill in. Now you could probably take and these things want to loosen up when you let go of them, and then they're not as tight as I need a finger. But that'll hold it up there somewhat. If I had a finger, man, that'd be really tight. So we'll just do that in between every one of them. I need a finger, guys. Can't you help a feller out? Let's see if I can do this with two hands. Well, if it will cooperate. You hear that crow? That didn't do nothing. That made it looser. So I wonder if I could take that down there. Actually, let's take this and put it at the bottom. And then we'll crisscross them. Bring them up, tie them again. There we go. See, that one gave us a green one and a black one. This one gave us a green one and a tan one. So, nothing like using what to your disposal. Trying to figure out another way of doing this so that I can get it a little tighter. And we got a black and tan one that time. So then we'll go and do one more, I believe. Well, I didn't need that much for this one, so we'll use this short one here. I'm thinking about changing this. I'm thinking about not doing the suppressor part and just do the adapter. So, I'm going to leave this alone for a minute because I may fold this one back to put over top of this area here. So, we'll see. That's why it's important to try to get this as tight as possible. So if your old lady's got a finger that can hold for you, have her hold it and you get it real tight, and that way it'll be tight against this stretchy stuff, so you can kind of maneuver it. You can take two of those and put them closer together or whatever, because it's still got some spring to it. So it's got a lot of flexibility here. It just ain't got enough strings on it for me. So let's stand back and look at it and see what we got so far. Yeah, it don't give you a whole lot of cover. Alright, so now we can do one of two things. I do have a sunshade in here I just 3D printed, but I can take this piece and put it right there, or I can take this piece and put it here to cover the center of each one of these. Just alternate them. But I believe the scope would need something on it, so we're going to try to stretch this over top of this ring and put it in the groove, because I pretty much have my zoom or my focus about where I need it for everything. So if I have to turn it, it ain't going to turn much. So then we can take this and attach it to the scope here somehow. I don't know how we're going to attach it. Probably should make a little clip that clips on there and holds that to the scope. And then we could just separate it. But for now, I got to figure out how to attach that. But you get the idea, guys. Same process with the scope. Separate it. And there you go. I'll be right back. So I can probably take and use a rubber band on this. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe if we put the rubber band right here, it'll have some kind of a little hump there to keep it from pulling back. So we're going to take and stick that right there. Slide that back a little bit. My heat shrink's getting loose on that. So we're going to take the rubber band and it don't matter if it's twisted. And you want it pretty tight. Tight as you can get it. Alright, so what we can do here now is kind of move that band a little bit and take half of this and go underneath. That way you can kind of get it to cover the rubber band. And just start separating them. Now we're still going to have to make a spot. So again, we've got to take all this and we're going to take and put half of it on one side of this. Push it all through. It's hard to get all them pushed through. Alright, so we got that all pushed through. So now nothing's in the way of the magazine. And this is all open. And that actually kind of helped to cover this side over here a little bit better. So there you have. Take you off the tripod here. We're probably going to change that and not do the suppressor, because I don't want that to change my point of impact with that pressure going against that. So we're going to try to move back here, so that way I can still unscrew that if I ever need to. So but there you go. And if you wanted more of this stuff, if you wanted to take the time and just keep tying on this thing, because it would still be with this, so you just take and tie a whole bunch of them. It'd probably take about 30 or 40 of them to go across there to kind of fill in these gaps. You could do that with camouflage yarn. So you could turn this into your own. But, you know, it don't spread out as much as I would like for it to, because it's just not enough strings. But just gives you an idea of how you can wrap your sniper rifle in the field for actual sniping use. But we're just sitting out here. I was shooting the Avenger a little bit, and I got that, and I thought I'd give it a shot. So the Avenger will always have that on it now. Let's just hope it doesn't hinder it when I go to put it in the rifle cabinet. So now when you're out here to shoot, there's nothing in the way of the scope. There's nothing in the way of the grip. There's nothing in the way of the lever and the safety. So that might be a little in the way. You don't want your trigger finger obstructed. So, and this stuff kind of stays where you put it. So, yeah, you got everything's good. Nothing's in the way of your cheek. And you can see just fine. And let's see if she's still dead on. She was dead on about a half hour ago. Nope, we moved it. Moved it about ½ inch to the right. So putting it on your suppressor is not a good idea, especially when your suppressor is plastic. So we got one string left here that fell off of that. Basically all you got to do is tie it back on there. And it will look no different than it did to start with. There's always more than one way to skin a cat, right? Not that there's a whole lot of people out there skinning cats unless you're from China. I think cats are a delicacy in China. I could be wrong, but that's what I hear. You know how that grapevine is. That grapevine's a son of a bitch. But I just wanted to share that, guys, showing you my wrap on my Avenger. This is my sniper, for all these bad criminals running around in my yard. I get a bunch of pests in here. I've been trying to feed a cat. He's a stray cat, I guess, or wild cat, but he's a great old big fluffy male. And I'd like to have a kitten, but I haven't found the right one yet. That last one about did me in. I think she tried to kill me. So that cat was a nightmare. But anyway, there's my sniper ghillie suit wrap for my gun on the Avenger. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that and got some information out of it. Don't forget to have your Trump coffee if you haven't already. You guys have a good one. Later.